South Carolina starts the year 5-5.
Okay,
5-5 against Kent State, Towson, Mississippi State, at Alabama, Kentucky, at Florida, Tennessee at home, Oklahoma on the road, Texas A&M at home, at Arkansas. That is a brutal 10-game slate for South Carolina.
Yep.
Start the year 5-5. Close out the year by beating both Georgia and Clemson on the road. So you're a 500 team. You close out the year on a crazy high note.
Which is, by the way, very Shane Beamer of your Ty-pothetical.
Extremely Shane Beamer. That's why I put it down.
Yeah.
Knock off Georgia, which would obviously be a marquee win. Clemson's a rivalry, if nothing more.
Yeah.
Finish the year 7-5 with 2 baller wins to close things out. Is that enough for fans in South Carolina to have confidence in Shane Beamer building this thing forward, mindful of the fact LaNorris Sellers, Dylan Stewart, Nick Harbor, team's going to look different next year.
Right.
So does that instill enough confidence that South Carolina fans are like, you know what? We're all in with Beamer.
It's a pretty good question. New AD.
Yep.
South Carolina hired at the beginning of 2025. So not AD who hires Shane Beamer, who's had sort of an up and down time. 7-6, 8-5, 5-7, 9-4, 4-8 last season, going 1-7 in the SEC. So in this situation, 7-5, and you're beating Clemson, means that you are finishing around 500 in the SEC, likely.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think he's ever had. He's had one winning record in the SEC in his time in 2024. Went 5-3. He's never finished in the top 15. Would not finish in the top 15 at 7-5. I think he's probably done at 7-5. I think he does not get one more chance. I think that's it. I think that's it for Shane Beamer, because I think South Carolina can talk themselves into somebody who can replicate bringing in the top-end talent that Shane Beamer has been able to do, but also win some of those weird close losses, perhaps better with, convincing kids to either stay or convincing money to go to retention on the NIL front and on the rev share front. I just think you've seen enough at this point. Now, South Carolina is heading into the season with obvious things that are not necessarily Shane Beamer's doing, which is offensive line issues and health and all sorts of questions once again up front on offense. But even with some of those questions last year, South Carolina was competitive and lost. So you're saying once again, finish strong with the good vibes. I guess it would have to be. So again, you said the Clemson game is at Clemson. Palmetto is at Clemson?
Clemson game. Palmetto's at Clemson, yeah.
Okay. Georgia, so you'd be beating Georgia, which...
Yeah, Georgia comes to Williams-Brice.
In front of your people. But yeah, it's Oklahoma on the road, Texas A&M, Tennessee on the road. The beginning of the schedule is not terrible, right? They were competitive with Alabama last year, and that game is at Bryant-Denny. But it's new look Florida, new look Kentucky. I know you said 5-5 heading into that stretch at the end of November. Now those 2 games.
Yep. Right.
I still think he's done. I still don't think you're offering something new at that point.
I think he's done.
Because it's not about the best of Shane Beamer's South Carolina teams. And I kind of tell myself this when I play tennis, is how do you just be more successfully boring? You're not going for winners, but you win what you should win, hypothetically, right? When Florida has a new coach, when Arkansas has a new coach, do they play Arkansas this year? They do. They play Arkansas on the road.
Yeah, they play Arkansas before that stretch at the end with Georgia and Clemson.
Right. So if South Carolina's merely taking care of business, there's decent enough reason to think that they could start 5-1, only lose to Bama, beat Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State in the SEC. Kent State and Towson should be easy wins. They get Tennessee at home.
I don't know. If they start 5-1 and still finish 7-5, then he's definitely gone.
I think he's done so, right? So then
they'd definitely be done.
I think the number is 8. I think the number is 8 this year. No matter who they beat or don't beat, you got to arrive at 8.
I mean, there's always been a question about offensive line. I'd be lying if I said I looked too deep into what the line looks like this year.
Right.
Have just started that. But I know they were very aggressive in the portal, trying to add a bunch of linemen and try and come in and make that trench unit a lot better. But I think the prevailing question would be if you go 7-5 with this unit, LaNorris Sellers, NFL prospect, right? Probably gone.
Oh yeah.
If you go 7-5 with LaNorris Sellers, Dylan Stewart, and a raw talent like Nick Harbor, I think it's a very fair question for the fan base to ask, are you actually developing talent?
Right.
Like, we know you can put a scrappy team out there, and we know they play hard, and they're fun as hell to watch. And as you said at the top, Dan, it'd be a very Beamer thing for them to close out the year knocking off both Georgia and Clemson. Like, he's got that dog in him to that extent. But the broader question of, is he developing talent in a way that makes this whole thing sustainable and not just going from year to year? 7-5 to me doesn't get it done.
He the first 5 games, and look, the defense was way ahead of the offense last season. They were mixed against the pass, but good against the run. But they were excellent in the red zone, so they were turning 7s into 3s and stuff. The first 5 SEC quarterbacks they play, it is their first year that they'll be starting as a college football quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying there is opportunity there.
That's opportunity. Yeah, that's definite opportunity.
To not go 7-5 with Kamario Taylor at Mississippi State, whoever starts for
who's looked good. He's looked good this spring.
Right, but it's first year full-time starter. Kenny Minchie at Kentucky, whoever starts for Florida, whoever starts for Tennessee. And even then, you're going to Oklahoma. Can you win that game ugly? Perhaps. We don't know what that offense is going to look like this year. And then you do have, Arkansas in November, as you mentioned before then. So 8-4 is there.
Yeah.
If they're, there's certain things internally that they're going to need to take care of. But let's not talk about this as a murderer's row in April anymore.